I grew up playing the basketball with the boys, so like it's always been physical and feisty, and like that's what it is, and you got to find a way to hold your own, so it kind of reminds me of that. And then I grew up with two brothers.
The WNBA is finally getting the attention it deserves, and Caitlin Clark's the main attraction.
One-on-one, Sammy Whitcomb with 8 seconds left. Goes around to Gumake, drives baseline, and shot rejected!
But with fame comes friction. She's getting roughed up on the court, and we're not just talking your run-of-the-mill contact.
And all of a sudden, we're pretty close. This has been as close as it's been all second quarter long.
Some players seem to be taking cheap shots, and it's clear they're trying to take her down a notch.
Third in the voting last season. Clark, hammer. 3 Sky players coming over.
Clark's been killing the game since day one, and her star power's got fans flocking to arenas nationwide. Ticket sales are through the roof, and team owners are cashing in. But some veteran players might be feeling a little salty about being overshadowed by the new kid on the block.
By Izzy McMagor, second opportunity is up and in by Nalissa Smith. Very entertaining first half of bouncy.
Clark's success has brought both accolades and animosity, and it's clear that not everyone's happy about her meteoric rise to the top.
Her and Carter were jawing a little bit back and forth the last few possessions.
Caitlin Clark's success is cashing in big time, with endorsements pouring in.
I think at this point, like I know I'm going to take a couple hard shots a game.
But some players can't help but feel bitter about her meteoric rise.
I ain't answering no Caitlin Clark questions.
They think she's getting more than her fair share of the spotlight, and it's grinding their gears.
Clark was trying to redirect a pass. Clark, oh my, from Schenectady!
Players in particular are calling foul, saying Clark's privilege is giving her an unfair edge.
And Angel Reese knows a ring is coming.
It's a sensitive topic and tensions are running high. The constant buzz around Clark's potential to become a legend is making some players nervous, worried she'll leave them in the dust and erase their hard-won progress.
I think so many people are watching women's basketball right now. It all started from the national championship game, and I've been dealing with this for 2 years now.
But Clark's not letting the haters bring her down. Caitlin Clark has faced significant challenges since joining the WNBA.
If I want to be that, and I know I'll go down in history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like...
And it hasn't all been smooth sailing.
That was a non-basketball play that happened.
From the outset, tensions were palpable, especially during that pivotal game between her team, the Fever, and the Chicago Sky featuring Angel Reese. The atmosphere was charged, and things escalated dramatically in the third quarter when Kennedy Carter collided with Caitlin in what initially seemed like a standard foul, but was later upgraded to a flagrant one upon review by the referees.
Lightning quick. And talk about the physicality. Dana Evans wrapping up Clark. Yeah, I mean, this is a foul for sure.
During the incident, Angel Reese appeared visibly supportive of Carter's actions, although she later claimed it was merely teammate solidarity. However, given the history of rivalry between Caitlin and Angel dating back to college, skepticism lingered among observers. Despite this, Caitlin maintained her focus and capitalized on the opportunities presented. She successfully converted the free throw awarded to her, ultimately securing a narrow victory for her team, 71-70. Caitlin's personal performance was noteworthy, contributing 11 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists. Meanwhile, Angel's impact was also substantial, securing an impressive 13 rebounds throughout the game. In a post-game interview addressing the Carter incident, Caitlin demonstrated sportsmanship by acknowledging Carter's achievements, even suggesting she could be in contention for 6th Player of the Year. This episode underscored the competitive nature of professional basketball, where respect for the game remains paramount amidst intense rivalries and on-court challenges. Caitlin Clark has had enough of the rough treatment from her fellow WNBA players, and she's making sure her skills speak louder than any controversy. Despite not being selected for the Olympics, a decision some attribute to opposition from other players, an idea that sounds wild, Caitlin used her latest game as a platform to silence her critics with a display of sheer talent. In a pivotal moment, she showcased Olympian-level agility by catching a pass at full speed, maneuvering around a screen, and delivering a pinpoint assist to a teammate who drained a jaw-dropping three-pointer from an impressive 30 feet out. Her confidence was palpable, knowing the shot was money the instant it left her hands. The crowd erupted, and Caitlin's trademark reaction mirrored the excitement. The game concluded with a resounding 91-83 victory for the Fever over the Sky, marking their first consecutive wins of the season. Caitlin Clark led the charge with a stellar performance that showcased her best yet in the WNBA, from sinking her first 3 shots to scoring 7 points in the opening quarter, more than her entire previous game. Caitlin wasn't just playing, she was making a statement. Her shooting was impeccable, going 7 for 7 near the basket, complemented by tough-as-nails defense that set a new standard for herself and her team. Despite the physicality from the opposing team, Caitlin stood her ground. Late in the third quarter, an incident with Angel Reese attempting to block Caitlin's shot, but inadvertently striking her head, saw Reese sidelined with foul trouble, limiting her aggression in the crucial second half. The Fever capitalized on this advantage, maintaining their momentum to secure a well-deserved victory. Caitlin Clark's performance wasn't just about winning a game, it was about asserting her place in the league with skill, resilience, and a determination to rise above the noise.
Now the official is pointing to his head here, and I think they're going to look at this.
Caitlin Clark dominated this game. Despite a rough hit from Angel Reese, she kept pushing hard. She scored big for the Fever and toughened up her defense, which had been a weak point earlier this season. In the final minutes, Chicago star shooter Maybe tried to trick Caitlin with a screen for a 3-pointer, but Caitlin saw right through it, fought past the screen, and blocked the shot. Caitlin finished as the game's top scorer with an impressive 23 points. She also had 9 assists, 8 rebounds, and blocked 2 more shots, almost getting a triple-double. After the game, Chicago Sky's rookie was unhappy with the referees. She felt they weren't fair with the fouls and missed many calls upon reviewing the game. She believed the referees favored the Fever. Caitlin, however, wasn't bothered by any of that. For her, the focus was on winning and performing at her best when it mattered most. Talking about a critical moment when she was at the free throw line, Clark said, Indiana Fever are on a hot streak, winning 3 of their last 4 games. Coach Sides acknowledges their improvement, even though they still have room for growth. A key factor in their success is Caitlin Clark. She has been phenomenal, silencing her critics with every game. No matter what tactics the opposing teams use against her, including dirty plays, she continues to perform exceptionally well.
And understanding, like, yeah, negative things have probably been said about me, but honestly, I'll take that.
Pressure? She thrives on it. Nothing can stop her from scoring, despite attempts from other players to get rough or play dirty. Caitlin remains focused on the game. She maintains her composure, prioritizing class and excellence in her performance. Her determination is paying off. She's shutting down her detractors and dominating the league. The WNBA might have had concerns about Caitlin at first, but now they must be thrilled with her performance.
Wheels around, evades Van Lith, and drains it! My goodness!
She's elevating the game with her exceptional skill and toughness.
Because she's been so sick before that UCLA game. That's how sick she was.
See you in the next video.
With the first pick in the 2024 WNBA draft, the Indiana Fever select Caitlin Clark.
How Caitlin Clark has taken the league by storm, leaving seasoned players like Aja Wilson in awe. This story isn't just about basketball, it's about the change one player can bring to an entire league.
University of Iowa.
The Las Vegas Aces recently made a major choice to move their game against the Indiana Fever to the T-Mobile Arena.
John and Jacqueline, you know it's a massive game when the venue gets upgraded from Michelob Ultra Arena to T-Mobile Arena, and it's still sold out. Fans filing in as we speak with their signs for...
This move boosted the sitting capacity from 12,000 to 18,000. Why? Because of Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark and Kate Martin, a big Hawkeye fan base here in attendance. But as for the Aces, they are rolling right now, riding a 4-game win streak, and it's no coincidence.
The rookie star star from the Fever has been drawing enormous attention and people wherever she goes.
Our Las Vegas Aces are calling T-Mobile Arena home this evening. The venue is completely sold out. Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever are back in town.
It is a hot ticket, and that's where we find Fox.
Tickets for this game are going like hotcakes. Prices are rising, with the smallest tickets costing $95 and some hitting over $1,000.
And there's been so much talk this season about the young talent coming in this year. From your standpoint, Asia, what do you think's been the best part of this particular WNBA season thus far?
This is a sharp difference to the normal $20 ticket price for Aces games. Remarkably, ticket sales for this regular season game have doubled compared to the WNBA playoffs games held in Las Vegas.
The energy. I feel like the energy is good. It's a good vibe. It's a good feel. People are really just coming to see the product on the floor. I think it kind of a little too gossipy in the beginning.
Caitlin Clark's influence is not just limited to her excellent performance on the court. She's changing the WNBA, drawing more fans, more media attention, and more income.
But then it started to fizzle out because people started to realize we're really good at what we do. We're elite at what we do. So I love the energy now. Like, people are seeing good hoops, and that's what it's all about. We come out here and we work hard and we play basketball at a very high level.
Even Aja Wilson, the star of the Las Vegas Aces, has noted the oddity of such a shift, saying that WNBA teams rarely play in such big venues.
And people are believing in it, and they're trusting in it, and they're investing in it. So I think that's the energy that we're feeling right now.
You know, energy is a great word when you think about Las Vegas. I go there often, Asia, for work, and it's one of my favorite cities because of that energy.
The Caitlin Clark effect is real. It's not just the people who are noticing it, the players are too. They have a level of energy and attention that many have never seen before in the WNBA. And the most surprising part, this is just the beginning of Clark's time in the league.
You've now been there for 6 years. And I got to ask you about something that goes all the way back to October, I believe it was last year. You finally got to see Usher, his residency there in Las Vegas.
Imagine the possibility she holds for the future. This move to bigger stadiums isn't just happening in Las Vegas. Other teams are also moving their games to meet the growing number of fans wanting to see Clark in action. Her appearance is raising the image of the WNBA, bringing in new fans and making people pay attention like never before.
8,000 fans here, and a lot of them here to see you know who, the former Iowa player, now Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark. Where are you from?
St. George, Utah.
The T-Mobile Arena, with its 18,000 seats, is nearly sold out for the game against the Indiana Fever.
Are you an Indiana Fever fan, an Iowa fan, or
where? I watched it when I was in college in Boston, watched you was in Iowa.
And you're okay. You probably provided the fuel to get her here. Huh?
Yeah.
This shows just how much of an effect Caitlin is making. She needs to play better.
Whoa. You came from Canada to...
Saskatchewan, Canada.
That's a long walk.
We drove 23 hours.
Whoa, hold on a second. 2C, I'm going to guess. Let me guess.
She's drawing record crowds, and it's not just in Las Vegas. Wherever the Fever plays, stadiums are filling up.
As the #1 draft pick for the WNBA this week as she signed on with Indiana, she made history this past year as college basketball's all-time leading scorer.
Clark's impact goes beyond just boosting ticket sales. She's driving up prices significantly.
She's already been selling out arenas this past year, and her team's national championship game drew in more viewers than the men's title game for the first time ever. Dallas Wings president and CEO Greg Bibb knew this, and he says
a normal Aces game might cost around $20 per ticket, but a game starring Clark is driving prices to rise.
Every ticket sales metric that you could imagine was established last year, and we will crush all of those high water marks this summer.
The excitement surrounding Clark's games is unusual in the WNBA's history.
Absolutely, that's amazing. Now, whatever you want to call it, Sunday's game is breaking records for WNBA ticket prices. The first two games between these two clubs were very close, very physical affairs.
Even ESPN has noticed a rise in the number of viewers when Clark plays.
One big focus for the Sky in today's game, fourth quarter ball movement and defensive execution. And there's ample room for improvement on that front.
For example, the Indiana Fever versus Phoenix Mercury game averaged 1.9 million watchers and peaked at 2.7 million. This is a 462% rise from the previous season. Clark is not just a player, she's an icon, a driver for the WNBA's growth.
Coming into the professional, and I just think her style of play resonates with the big basketball fan, the big game fan. Because in sports, as you know, Stephen A., you need household names.
Her ability to draw people and attention is proof of her charm and skill. WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert has praised Clark's part in improving the league.
These rivalries and games of consequence, and obviously March Madness had all of that, and we're hoping certainly replicate it. Now we have a 40-game season, so not every game you might call a game of consequence, but we're really excited for what.
However, with all this fame comes huge pressure. Clark is not just a college star anymore. She's now at the center of attention in the WNBA.
For Kathy, I know it was two players, but you had Bird and Magic in 1979. Bird goes to Boston, Magic goes to LA. Highest rated college basketball game of all time. NBA was really struggling.
Every game is a test of her skills. The Las Vegas Aces, the current WNBA winners, have experienced and skilled players like Aja Wilson. How Clark tackles this level of competition will be important. Teams are creating special tactics to control her, and Clark will need to adjust.
Up by 3 at the half, she would come back in the second half. And again, Drea, she looked very good.
Yeah, great sign for Caitlin. Again, reading the defense well here with the hesitation and then exploding to the rim. I thought she did a much better job getting in the paint this game also.
Consistency is another problem. The WNBA season is long and grueling. Maintaining her excellent level of play throughout the season will be a major test for Clark.
Caitlin 1 and the Indiana Fever 2 because they are starting to play and know where she is on the floor. That drop-off pass from Erica Wheeler was beautiful.
And then she takes it strong there. She had 17 points.
Moreover, the race for Rookie of the Year adds another layer of pressure. Every game counts, and the battle is fierce.
Inbounding with one last chance, 11 seconds to go. Oh, and Aaliyah Boston just can't quite get it.
Despite these difficulties, Clark's effect on the game is clear.
Let me just say this. The Indiana Fever will be a problem. Maybe not this season, but in seasons to come. Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell.
She's not just a bright newbie. She's a changing force. Professional women's basketball is getting a new boost from her appearance, which is bringing in high numbers and making news.
That dynamic duo, the speed that Kelsey Mitchell has on the floor, those two are a major threat. So I'm excited for what the Indiana Fever have brought to the game. Think about the first time they played the Connecticut Sun.
For sports fans, every game is a chance to see something amazing. Clark always amazes everyone, whether he's breaking a record or making a play that stops everyone in their tracks. The best part? This is just the start of her career. Clark is making new players, and fans want to follow in his footsteps. Fans all over the country are young women who see her rule the WNBA and think that they can do the same. There are limits to what she can do in women's basketball, and she's setting new standards.
She is that dynamic as a player, and Bird and Magic, same thing, say 50 years ago. How about that? Let me hear.
Absolutely. I mean, Bird Magic, I'm a big studier of history, a big rivalry coming out of college.
Clark's effect will only grow as she learns more and more as a professional player. The future of the WNBA looks bright with her in it. Not only do her efforts help her win games, but they also motivate fans and shift how people think about women's basketball. However, the road ahead has its challenges. The racism and prejudice within the WNBA are still widespread. Clark's successes are sometimes overwhelmed by unfair attacks. For instance, in talks about the Rookie of the Year award, some experts still need to name her despite her excellent performance.
Glue of the team, the mother hen as they've called her. Caitlin Clark hits the three-pointer, and Clark makes history once again.
This attitude is sad and shows the problems Clark faces off the court.
No one in the history of the sport has hit more threes in a season than Clark has this year.
Despite this, she stays focused and lets her accomplishments speak for themselves. Her commitment to the game and her team is clear in every match she plays.
I'm sure the only people that view this as a rivalry is all of you. Like, for us, like, it's just a game of basketball. Like, that's what it is, and if it's gonna help move the game forward, absolutely. Like, that's amazing.
Clark's ability to handle pressure and criticism with ease is what sets her apart. She's not just playing for herself, she's playing for the fans, for her team, and the future of the WNBA. Her story is one of determination and success. As fans, we should enjoy her successes and continue to support her journey. The WNBA is changing, and players like Caitlin Clark are at the center of this change. Her influence is not just counted in points or assists, but in the motivation she gives to countless others. Even Aja Wilson, a seasoned player and a star in her own right, has voiced her surprise and respect for Clark. Wilson's praise speaks volumes about Clark's amazing ability and the respect she gets from her peers. It's not every day that a rookie garners such high praise from experienced stars.
Talent coming in this year. From your standpoint, Asia, what do you think's been the best part of this particular WNBA season thus far?
Wilson has been quoted saying that Clark's ability to draw such big groups and attention is unlike anything she's seen before. This praise from a top player in the league shows the big impact Clark is making. It's not just about her skills, it's about her power to change the game.
You know, there's no grudges, there's nothing like that. It's a sport, it's competitive. It's not gonna be nice all the time. That's not what basketball is, and I think people that play that at the highest level understand that.
Clark's flexibility on the floor is a key factor in her success. Whether it's her sharp shooting from beyond the line, her smooth passing, or her defensive ability, she brings a full package to the game. This diverse ability makes her a dangerous opponent and a joy to watch. Her work attitude is another feature that sets her apart. Clark's dedication to improving her game is obvious in every drill and every match. She's constantly looking for ways to enhance her performance and add more to her team's success. This devotion is what makes her a great player. Off the court, Clark is also making a difference. She's connecting with friends, joining in neighborhood events, and using her platform to inspire others. Her humility and approachability connect her to fans and make her a role model for young players everywhere.
Here's a falter, looking to drive it again. Needs help this time. Flings it out. Clark, open three, is good.
Clark's road to the WNBA has been marked by hard work and determination. From her college days, where she made a name for herself with her excellent play, to her professional start, she's been a force to be reckoned with. Her rise to fame is a testament to her ability and drive. As the WNBA season progresses, all eyes will be on Clark to see how she continues to perform. The pressure is great, but if her past achievements are any sign, she's more than capable of rising to the moment. Her ability to stay focused and deliver under pressure will be important. Clark's presence in the league is also helpful for her partners. Playing alongside someone of her caliber improves everyone's level of play. Her teammates are inspired to match her energy and skill, leading to a more competitive and exciting game. Clark's public coverage is also a boon for the WNBA. Increased coverage means more exposure for the league and its stars. This can lead to more partnerships, better television deals, and eventually a stronger league. The greater interest also brings more investigation. As Clark continues to make news and break records, it's important to remember the wider effect she's having on the WNBA. She's not just a player, she's a leader, paving the way for future waves of female sports. Her impact goes beyond the court. She's pushing assumptions, breaking down barriers, and showing that women's basketball is just as exciting and tough as men's. This is a major change, and one that will have long-term effects on the sport. For young girls watching her play, Clark is a source of motivation. She's proof that with hard work and commitment, they too can achieve their dreams. This motivation is perhaps her biggest gift to the game and society, so keep an eye on Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. Every game is a chance to watch history in the making. Subscribe to our feed for more information and stay tuned as we follow her amazing journey in the WNBA. With Caitlin Clark on the court, the WNBA will never be the same. Her story is just starting, and we can't wait to see what she accomplishes next.
Caitlin Clark had an amazing year and is nominated for 3 awards.
Serena Williams recently made news at the ESPY Awards for a statement regarding Caitlin Clark, which sparked extensive discussion and controversy.
Caitlin, you are the Larry Bird in that you are an amazing player. You have ties to Indiana, and white people are really crazy about you.
The comment addressed issues of racism, representation, and the larger ramifications for women's sports.
And she tries to stay grounded, and she says she doesn't, what did she say? She doesn't have a social, she doesn't look at her social, and I get it. I don't either.
This article will look at the backdrop of Williams' words, the emotions they elicited, and the possible influence on sports and society.
No matter what other people do, then if people are negative, it's because they can't do what you do, basically. And hopefully she'll continue to do what she's doing.
At the ESPYs, Serena Williams likened Caitlin Clark to Larry Bird, a great white basketball player, stating, "You are Larry Bird and you are an amazing player."
Bird in the corner, double fake, jumper, it's good! Larry Bird hits it with 2 seconds left.
You have links to Indiana, and white folks are passionate about you. While Williams may have meant to congratulate Clark, her statements unwittingly introduced race into the discourse, implying that Clark's fame is based on her color rather than her skill. Williams' views are relevant for many reasons.
And Angel Reese knows a ring is coming.
Larry Bird is a respected figure in basketball history.
Oh, there's Max on the offensive board on the cut to Bird, swings through, little reverse, layup is good.
How did he make that one? I want to tell you, I didn't think he was going to shoot it.
So being compared to him may be seen as a huge praise. However, the parallel gets problematic when it looks to cast Clark as an extraordinary white player rather than just a great player.
Up in time, Clark for the win! She does it time and time again, the 40-piece!
The inference is that her accomplishments and capabilities are perceived via a racial prism, which is not only limiting but also unjust to her skills and efforts. Comparing Caitlin Clark to Larry Bird only on the basis of race is dubious.
Just to ask you directly, when people use your name for racism, misogyny, whatever, what is your response to that specifically?
Yeah, I think it's disappointing.
It indicates that Clark can only be compared to other white athletes, which undervalues her unique abilities and accomplishments. Furthermore, implying that white people are really crazy about you indicates that Clark's fandom is mostly white.
The ball to her, and that's exactly what she did. I mean, she started off hot, stayed hot throughout the entire game, but I think she also took pressure off of her when she was able to find her teammates in transition, get them the ball, and that
disregarding the diversity of her fans. This kind of racial stereotyping is antiquated and dangerous, especially in 2023, when society should be progressing beyond such limiting perspectives. The phrase also speaks to larger cultural concerns, such as how individuals are often classified and condemned based on their race. In sports, this emerges as racial stereotyping, in which players are frequently compared to others of their race rather than being valued as individuals. Such remarks may exacerbate divides and inhibit the appreciation of variety in sports.
I think, everybody in our world, deserves the same amount of respect. The women on our league deserve the same amount of respect. So people should not be using my name to push those agendas. It's disappointing.
Athletes like Clark should be honored for their abilities and accomplishments rather than their race. Serena's words elicited an instant and divided response. At the ESPYs, the crowd remained quiet, suggesting discomfort or astonishment. On social media, sentiments varied from humor to fury. Some fans thought Serena's statement amusing and true, while others were genuinely outraged.
Some of the women in this league were my biggest idols and role models growing up, and so just treating every single woman in this league with the same amount of respect, I think is just a basic human thing that everybody should do. Like, just be a kind person and treat them, how you would want to be treated. And I think it's, very simple.
Asking why race had to be brought into the discussion, one fan appropriately questioned why bring race into it. Many people agreed that the event should have focused only on Clark's achievements, without any racial criticism.
And then my parents are here tonight over here. My dad was actually my first ever AAU basketball coach, so this is kind of a full circle moment, and I grew up playing a lot of AAU sports, whether it was softball, basketball.
The range of responses demonstrates the difficulty of addressing race in public spaces. On the one hand, some individuals value honesty and find it refreshing to hear high-profile athletes talk candidly about race. On the other side, many people think that such remarks might distract from the athletes' accomplishments and divert attention away from their skills. The various replies reflect that society is still wrestling with how to approach race conversations, particularly in high high-stakes settings such as big award events. Interestingly, Caitlin Clark has kept mute on the matter. She has made no public declarations or shared any responses on social media.
Caitlin Clark has done so much, not only for women's college basketball, obviously what she's doing in the WNBA.
This quiet reveals much about her character and concentration. During her acceptance speech at the ESPYs, Clark merely expressed gratitude. "I just wanted to say thank you for this acknowledgement. It was a memorable year for women's athletics."
Hey everyone, it's Caitlin Clark. I just wanted to say thank you for this recognition. Obviously I could not be there tonight. I'm a little bit busy in Indianapolis. Special for all of us, and it was a special year in women's athletics. So thank you, ESPN. I just want to give a shout out to all the nominees and award winners tonight. I'm sad I couldn't be there, but I hope you all have an amazing night.
Her reaction was elegant and free of controversy, emphasizing her commitment to her sport rather than engaging in unneeded drama. Clark's decision to remain quiet might be taken in several ways. It might be a calculated strategy to avoid additional controversy while focusing on her game. It might also represent her desire to let her performance speak for itself rather than engage in a dispute that may detract from her accomplishments. Clark exemplifies professionalism and attention by keeping her cool and avoiding provocative statements.
Let's hear it for your Iowa women's basketball team. Our unanimous player of the year is going to take the mic. Take it away, Caitlin Clark.
Woo! Let's go!
Promoting the notion that athletes should be recognized for their abilities and devotion. Serena's statement ignited a bigger debate regarding racism in women's sports. Some contend that comparing Clark to Larry Bird is just another example of racial stereotyping, which persists throughout sports. One admirer said some white people prefer Serena Williams and some black people like Caitlin Clark.
The criticism is often very one-sided. Caitlin Clark talks her shit. Caitlin Clark is demonstrative. Caitlin Clark, people aren't bothered by that. People aren't bothered by it because they're caught up in the narrative of, oh, here's this, wonderful.
Generalization is provocative. This argument emphasizes the continuing challenges of racism and representation in athletics, demonstrating that these discussions are far from ending. The topic expands beyond Serena and Clark. It addresses the broader problem of how athletes of various races are regarded and handled. Historically, black athletes have faced different standards and expectations than their white counterparts.
This morning, this physical moment involving the WNBA's most high-profile rookie raising questions.
Unnecessary.
Chicago's Kennedy Carter shoulder-checking the Fever's Caitlin Clark, knocking her to the ground.
This has resulted in a lengthy history of racial bigotry and uneven treatment in athletics. Serena's words, whether deliberate or not, have pushed these concerns back to the forefront.
I think at the end of the day, I'm a competitor. Now that it's another day, I've had an off day, now I can answer your questions and I can let you know how I really feel about things. But I'm a competitor and I'm gonna compete no matter who you are.
Reminding us that much more work has to be done to achieve genuine equality in sports.
It all started from the national championship game, and I've been dealing with this for 2 years now. And understanding, negative things have probably been said about me, but honestly, I'll take that because look where women's basketball is.
Despite the uproar, Caitlin Clark's popularity continues to rise. Her outstanding abilities and accomplishments have resulted in record viewership for the WNBA and venues packed with fans of all ethnicities. Clark's appeal transcends color.
I do think that there is a thing called pretty privilege. There is a thing called white privilege. There is a thing called tall privilege. And we have to acknowledge that. And so part of it is about race.
Demonstrating that skill and determination are universal qualities that captivate a varied audience.
That she is more relatable to more people because she's white, because she's attractive. And unfortunately, there still is that stigma against the LGBTQ plus communities.
Clark's ability to keep her concentration and execute at a high level under criticism is admirable.
70% of the WNBA is black. A third of the players are in the LGBTQ plus community.
It illustrates her perseverance and resolve to achieve despite external distraction.
And we have to do something about that stigma in this country. I think that people have a problem with basketball playing women that are lesbian.
Her rising popularity also reflects a change in how fans see sports. Skill and effort are more valued despite ethnic or other superficial distinctions. This is a good omen for the future of sports, since it indicates that supporters are growing more inclusive and open-minded. Serena Williams is under widespread criticism for her statements. Critics contend that introducing race into a time intended to honor Clark's accomplishments was needless and divisive.
But to my teammates and coaches that I had at the University of Iowa, it's special for all of us, and it was a special year in women's athletics. So thank you, ESPN.
This scandal has caused some to doubt Serena's legacy. Williams, a pioneer who has inspired many people and broken innumerable boundaries, is now in danger of ruining her reputation with a statement that many people believe is improper. Williams' legacy is multifaceted.
About Serena doing well in her first round against Christiane was the serve started flowing, started firing.
She has been a strong champion for gender and racial equality in athletics, utilizing her position to raise awareness and fight for change.
Like businesses and companies and Serena Ventures and Win Beauty and all the stuff that I'm doing and Serena in the arena, and like it's just like it's so much. So.
However, her latest remark has ignited a discussion about whether high-profile athletes should be more cautious with their comments. The outcry against Serena indicates that fans want their celebrities to maintain certain standards and avoid words that may be seen as divisive. This episode serves as a warning that even well-intentioned words may have unexpected repercussions, and that public figures must be aware of their influence. The topic of racism in female athletics is not new. There has always been an unspoken conflict about how athletes of various races are regarded and handled. This tension may be observed in many sports, including tennis, basketball, and track and field. The WNBA and other sports organizations have taken steps to address these concerns via diversity and inclusion initiatives. Still, incidents like Serena's statement demonstrate that more work needs to be done. Historically, black athletes have struggled to acquire fame and respect in predominantly white sports. This has resulted in a history of racial intolerance and discrimination that continues to impact athletes today. The WNBA's attempts to promote diversity and inclusion are positive milestones, but they are insufficient on their own. To develop a genuinely inclusive atmosphere, all stakeholders must work together, including players, spectators, and media. Serena's statement has unintentionally sparked a bigger discussion about how race is viewed in sports. Stephen A. Smith said, "Race is always the component that we can ignore, but it doesn't always have to be negative." This viewpoint emphasizes the need to acknowledge race without allowing it to dominate or adversely influence the narrative. The idea is to honor athletes for their accomplishments, while also encouraging a more inclusive and polite conversation on race. The objective is to strike a balance between acknowledging the importance of race and ensuring that it does not overwhelm the athlete's accomplishments. This necessitates a balanced strategy that respects each athlete's uniqueness, while also considering the larger societal environment in which they function. It is important to have open and honest talks on race, but they must be presented in a manner that fosters understanding and inclusiveness rather than division. The WNBA has taken strong steps to promote diversity and inclusion. They have developed policies and activities to provide a friendly atmosphere for all players and supporters. These initiatives are critical to influencing the way race and representation are seen in sports. However, altering attitudes and views is a lengthy process that takes continuous work and dedication from all parties involved. The WNBA's activities include programs to help young players from varied backgrounds, attempts to expand representation in leadership roles, and awareness campaigns on the value of diversity and inclusion. These approaches are critical for developing a more inclusive sports culture. However, it is essential to acknowledge that true transformation requires more than simply rules and initiatives. It requires a change in attitudes and actions, which can only be accomplished by consistent effort and participation. Serena Williams' statement has prompted a critical discussion about racism, representation, and diversity in sports. While it may have created pain and controversy, it also provides a chance for development and learning. The sports community and society at large must participate in meaningful discourse about these concerns in order to create a more inclusive and respectful environment for everyone. The route ahead requires a commitment to continual education and awareness. This entails listening to underrepresented populations' views, understanding the obstacles they encounter, and collaborating to build a more inclusive atmosphere.